Hello. In our last video, we had this conversation that had to do with know your friends, and we captioned that know your friends part one. We said we were going to conclude in this video if we can, and I like us to go back to that video and watch it so that we'll be able to connect and flow with this one, because in this one we are going to be drawing lessons that we have learned from the characters that were portrayed in the last video, that is know your friends part one. Well, it had to do with Demola and Bola that were friends way back 35 years ago in high school, and Demola suddenly showed up in Bola's home. Bola is not married to Titi with two beautiful children. So let's just take it up from there. Please watch the last video on Know Your Friends, part one, so that you'll be able to flow in this one. My name is Christy, and I welcome you to my channel. Thank you for spending time with me. So we said that we'll try and draw some lessons from the characters Demola, Bola, and Titi. Yes, I'm going to be starting with Demola. Demola suddenly showed up, like we said, in Bola's house, Bola's residence, Bola's home, after about 35 years that they finished from school, high school together. He suddenly just showed up unannounced without any prior notice. Demola to me is a fleeing man, fleeing from whatever misdemeanor, whatever wrong I might have committed. And he was just looking for anything, anyone to hold on to enable him retain his freedom, not minding what could become of the whoever or whatever he's going to be holding on to. He just wants a safe haven that he can hide and figure out how he would be able to wriggle out of whatever issues, whatever problems he had landed himself into. So he's not mindful of whatever that will become of whoever he's holding on to, or whatever he's holding on to, whether they get damaged along the way or they get bruised. What he was concerned about was his own freedom to retain it. Selfish, cruel, if you want to say that. But that's who Demola actually is, and that's what he represents. And whether we want to believe it or not, we have so many Demolas in our lives, in our environments, in our communities, close to us. So just let us know Demola, selfish, cruel, wicked, because it doesn't care whether whoever is holding on to or whatever is holding on to gets damaged or bruised. His own concern and focus is to retain his freedom and to wriggle out of whatever issues, wahala, he might have landed himself into. So that is who Demola is. Bola is a simple thing. Yes. He's just a very, I don't know, undiscerning fellow. He was just interested in recreating whatever escapades, whatever naughtiness himself and Demola were engaged with some other friends or classmates were engaged in while they were in school. He was more interested to reminisce on whatever they did way back in school. So he was not ready to look at the issues presently on ground and try to double check. Suddenly somebody showed up in your house, in your home, unannounced. announced without any notice after about 35 years, and you welcomed the person in with both hands. The person is not even telling you when he would leave, and you do not see that as a red flag. You might have known him way back in school 35 years ago, but is it the same person now? I think that red flag was obvious enough for him to welcome him in that day. He could have sat him down to ask questions. Are you are you in transit, or what brings you? This is although I must say I've missed you. However, uh, you know, present some questions. Be inquisitive. Try and know why he would suddenly just show up and not tell you when he will be leaving. I think that's not too much to do. It's not too much. It's not being unkind. You're just being inquisitive, and there's nothing wrong in being inquisitive, really. You know, even when Titi Bola's wife drew his attention, that is, her husband's attention, to the fact that this is your friend, this is Demola, your friend. How long is he going to be staying with us for? How long? Instead of you to see that as another signal to sit your friend down and ask questions, you just shoved it aside. Probably you have stereotyped your wife as somebody who is too finicky, who can be paranoid, who is not accommodating, who does not like to, shift from a normal routine. I'm sure that's what you thought. And you were thinking in your mind that this your wife is always in her cocoon. You were going to break that cocoon today, and this time around, you will not allow her to just remain in her cocoon. She should try to socialize and get to know and meet new people without entertaining fear or whatever. No. But it's a no. You should have at least looked at that twice instead of discarding it outrightly. You might not have shown any aggression or any anger, but you didn't do anything about her suggestion. You just shoved it aside. And like I said, maybe you have seen your wife as all that I enumerated earlier on. And for me, if those things, being paranoid, finicky, not wanting to shift from her normal routine, being in her cocoon, and all that, they may not on their own be entirely dangerous if they are not extreme. Therefore, if she brings up the suggestion, or if she observed something that's off, out of place, kind of, you should at least sit down, sit back on your own, think about it, and probe that whatever it is that she has thrown up, whatever it is that she has highlighted, instead of just discarding it and just ignoring it completely. See where it landed you. You had to go and cool your feet in the security operatives' custody. Something you should have that could have been prevented, avoided altogether. So for me, Bola should pay attention and should be more inquisitive, because there's nothing more dangerous than a simpleton who is also undiscerning, who is also incorrigible, will not take some other person's advice, will not look at some other person's observation, I think it's a disaster. Therefore, Bola needs to work on this because I know there are so many Bolas around. We have so many Bolas around, who would just because of the stereotyping of a particular person would discard and shove aside the person's suggestion, even if and when such suggestions can do you a whole lot of good. So that's my take on that. And now let's look at Titi Bola's wife. Titi Bola's wife. She was, in any case, anyone should be worried. A full grown up man, seen last about 35 years ago, suddenly shows up in your house unannounced, no prior notice, and kind of hold up, you know, in your home, not telling you when he would leave. Any normal person should know that something is amiss. So Titi, of course, her natural state, you know, drew her husband's attention to all this. She could have been a finicky person, panicky, sometimes dramatic, overly dramatic, and all that. Maybe that is why her husband shoved her observation aside. Therefore, my advice to Titi, because I know there are so many Titis around too, when you are making your point, try as much as possible not to overladen it with emotions. Just make your points. Highlight the substance, throw up the issues without being overly dramatic and overly emotional. That way, people will take you seriously. People will not say she's always like that, emotional and things. So Titi, you need to work on the way you comport yourself, you conduct yourself, you dispose and explain yourself, so that people will not say she has come again. In this instance now, you've done something really commendable, but maybe because the way you have always carried yourself, you know, it had beclouded the good that you were trying to do here. You were just seeing, even your husband was just seeing your emotional aspects, how you're always overly dramatic, instead of picking the substance you were trying to get across. Because Bola was the one that was whisked away with Demola and had to go through that hassle, that hardship of having to be in the security operatives custody for about 3 days or so. Even you, Titi, the wife, you were not happy. You were traumatized. So that's why I'm saying that you need to work on yourself and try and be less dramatic, less emotional when you're throwing up issues, substances, so that the substances in those issues can be addressed. So that they will not be discarded. They will not say, oh, she has come again. So please, Titi, work on yourself. Try and present whatever it is you want to present. Your husband, even friends, people at work, everywhere. Present whatever it is that you want to present, in the most appropriate manner, so that what you're trying to get across does not get lost in your drama, unnecessary drama. And that's one. And the other thing you should have done, instead of just resigning yourself to fate, Titi, maybe during dinner or lunch, whatever, everybody's on the table, you could actually ask Demola, so, in a very jovial manner, I hope my friend, referring to his wife now, You're saying it's a serious discussion, but you're saying it in the most relaxed and fun way as much as possible. You now say, so I hope my friend is not going to get angry that you're spending so much time with us. I'm assuming you're on vacation. If Temola, as the case is running away from a particular problem or wahala or crime, he's going to there's no how he's going to be able to conceal it. He's going to look rattled. You will see it on his face. He's going to be unsettled somehow. And that way, he would immediately start to look for another haven that I can run to. Instead of just settling in your home and getting yourselves involved in his issues to the extent that your husband was whisked away with him. So if you had done that, maybe you would have averted that problem on yourself, on your home, on your husband. Because like I said, once you throw that question, as innocent as it sounds, it's going to leave him unsettled. And believe me, he's going to start looking for another haven that he can run to. So, because it's unusual for a full-grown up man to just be holed up in your own home for 5 days, even more, not telling you when he would leave. It's unusual. It's abnormal. Something that should not be accommodated, should not be condoned. Yes. So that's my take on Titi. Yes. I hope I've been able to do justice to the characters. I ask that you please tell me how you profile these characters. You can please put your comments under the comment section because we learn every day. This is a relationship issue. Whether we like it or not, Demola had used his own to disrupt the peaceful lives of Bola, of Titi, even the children. So please, let me have your comments, your reactions, your opinions. And if you have similar or you have seen similar encounters or you have heard similar stories, please you can let us have them under the comment section. Thank you very much. Please remember, it is important. You're doing yourself a lot of good to know your friends. Please know your friends. We have said that if it's been a while that you saw or contacted this friend last, don't overexpose yourself. Do a double check. Do not expose yourself. Do a double check and be sure that he's still the same person you knew at that time. Thank you very much for listening to me. And please, if you do not remember anything, do well to remember this. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Please remember that all the time. Thank you. Please remember, subscribe to my channel. Like, please share my videos. Thank you. Bye.